Hello and welcome to Weaving Voices podcast. This is Josephine Thomason, and I am going to offer you today a bit of ceremony and astrological interpretation of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that is happening now. And yeah, so that's my plan for this particular podcast, since it is a medium that makes it so that we can be connected even though we're not connected. We're not physically together. And I've been really struggling with this idea of not getting together on Solstice to do ceremony. That's been a pretty awful idea. So this is my solution. I hope you like it. I hope it serves you well. It is my first time doing such a thing. So let me know, tell me all about it, if it's good, bad, or ugly, I don't know. So anyway, I appreciate you and your listening, and I've had people asking me, what's going on and what do I do? So I'm gonna offer a little bit of astrological guidance and then a ceremony for the solstice and the Jupiter Saturn conjunction, the great conjunction. So, all right. So to begin, the Jupiter-Saturn business that is just epically beautiful is the culmination of the last 20-year cycle. So Jupiter and Saturn come together every 20 years. They do this dance, and they are the timekeepers. They're like, the long count, well, not the super long count, but the medium count. Okay, so the timekeepers of the cosmos, right? There's the spin of the Earth, the moon going around the Earth, that's another breath, and then there's the going around the sun is another one, and then there's the cycle of Jupiter and Saturn, which is this bigger pulse that happens every 20 years. So what's really special about this one is that they're really, like, in their declination, they are going to be lined up exactly. So normally they're conjunct, but they're still kind of far, like if you're looking with your eyes, you can see, fit a few fingers between them. But in this particular one, they're going to be occulting each other, right? So going in front of Jupiter will be going in front of Saturn. And this, produces the vision of one big bright star. And that's just, and for those of you who have been paying attention, Jupiter and Saturn have been, together all year long in the sky, not too far apart, but then they've come closer and closer and closer, and right now they're boom right together. So what this cycle that Jupiter and Saturn are always doing, like, it's a breath of time. Saturn particularly is very much a timekeeper. The moon and Saturn work together in this 29-day, 29-year breath that is just really fascinating as far as, like, really observing the sacred number of it. But what Saturn and Jupiter really represent are the interplay of reality, the physical reality, and inspiration, and working with spirit. So Jupiter really rules the inspiration, which would be breath, right? Like, if you think of it as a breath and you breathe in, that's your inspiration and you're full. Now, you can't only breathe in. If you only breathe in, you will die. And when you exhale, then there's your Saturn, right? So they're working together always. They don't always agree with each other. They have very different approaches, but you cannot just do Jupiter. You cannot just do Saturn. You just can't. They work together. And this is the beginning, the seed point of their next cycle. And why people are all in a tizzy, all like excited, is because Jupiter is at 0 degrees of Aquarius at this winter solstice point. And it's amazing. It's a beautiful, it's like a love note from spirit. It's like, like the rainbow at the end of the huge ass storm, that we just lived through. It's like, yeah, something different is coming. And now it's not all going to be good and not all going to be puppy dogs and rainbows, although, there will be some puppy dogs and rainbows. It just really is asking us to be curious and imaginative, because Aquarius really is the energy of like the new and interesting and really collective consciousness ideas and ideals, and really loves the utopian visions, right? But the challenge of the Aquarian archetype is that there's a tremendous amount of judgment within it, and really when it decides something can really have trouble seeing another person's point of view, even though Aquarius seems awfully open-minded and everything, because they will entertain all the thoughts. There is a big piece in there of like judgment, right? So what I mean by that, as far as like the next 20-year cycle, is that there is a huge amount of innovation that's going to come in. There's a lot of things that don't even exist on the planet yet that are going to be, in the next 20 years, will be totally normal. And we're already experiencing a lot of that. And then as moving into this, we've just all learned how to work and play through the computer. And it's not, it's not my favorite, but here we are nonetheless. So the question that you really need to ask yourself in any Jupiter-Saturn cycle, but particularly this one, is it's really asking you to come to grips with your work in the world, because Saturn always rules your work and your like the ancestors and that piece as well. Like what gifts did you bring between the world? So from your soul's lineage and your physical lineage, what did you bring with you? What do you have to offer this world when it's in this place of deep need? There is plenty of work to do. There is no excuse for unemployment, except that, they keep telling us not to not to leave the house. But there's a lot of work to do. And so choosing in that way of really wisely, like what it is my soul really wants to do. And that is most likely going to include healing for people and the earth and all of that, which is in our society currently not overly valued, and can make it really difficult to step into your soul's calling when poverty is like, okay, I'm just going to be okay with being poor and I'm going to do this thing, like that just sucks. And I don't think that's the right answer either. But it does take a fair amount of imagination and courage to entertain ideas and then actually step forward into them. So that's what is being seeded at this winter solstice point, is the new and interesting ideas of how we're going to create reality, create the next 20 years. What is it? And we're all being called up in a big way. It really depends on your personal chart, what is being activated, but we're collectively being called, some of us may be being called a little louder than others. I would just say that it doesn't matter, the volume, you're still being called. now, of course, where you are on your journey, so like if you're 10, it's different than if you're 50, and it's different if you're 80, right? Where you are in this journey, but you're being asked to imagine a new way of doing things and allowing yourself to do them. And that's hard. It sounds easy. I made a sentence with it, but it's hard, for sure. So again, with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction piece is like that breath of life that is constantly happening. So Jupiter, at this point, they're both together, and then Jupiter's going to go ahead because it's much more fast moving, and will make it a whole way, all the way around the ecliptic, and then another 8 signs before meeting up with Saturn again. And Saturn will only make it through those 8 over to Libra. So in the next 20 years, like that's the cycle. So really what Jupiter is doing is like plowing the way, and then Saturn's coming along and planting the seed. Well, they're both planting the seeds, but Jupiter's plowing the vision, or setting the train tracks, so that the train of Saturn can follow it, right? That's there's a lot of different analogies you can use, but if you can see it, that Jupiter goes first and lays down this ideas and visions and excitement, and then Saturn comes along. Okay, how do you build it? How do you make it happen? What's the first step? And do you need insurance? Right? Do you have all the materials that you need? The physical materials, the physical monies, all of that kind of stuff. So right now, those two things are together. And so it's like, when you're doing meditation and you breathe out all the way and then you hold your breath. And it's one of the most irritating sensations I find, when I'm like fully exhaled and then holding my breath. That's the energy of these two together. It's a seed point. It's like, okay, we're together. We're not breathing in or out. We're just here together. And that's an opportunity to plant the seed and let the inspiration drop in. Let it drop in and let it be clear and all of that. So, all right. So astrologically, if you have it within your abilities to look at your chart, what you're going to do is look at your personal Saturn and your personal natal Jupiter, and you're going to look at them and really ask that question of, what is my work? What is it that my soul is wanting to do? If you don't have the know-how or ability to do so, you can, of course, call me and I'll do a reading for you, since that is my work in the world. Part of my work in the world is definitely being an astrological interpreter, and I am happy to do so for you. And since it is my work in the world, and since, that is definitely one of the energies that's up right now, is like, are we ever going to get to work again? Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you to call me and let's do a reading, because, it's fun. And also because it can be very, very helpful in these times. So, what else can I say here about Jupiter and Saturn and what they represent? So we just went through whether this last year was a combination of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, and Pallas Athena and Ceres were all involved in this last year. And I just really want to emphasize that the chewing and the demo of this last year. So there was a lot of demolition that happened in all of our systems. And the astrologers knew that was coming, and I remember looking beforehand going, ooh, I don't really want to know what that's going to be like, but here it comes. And then now we've lived it, and not that it's done, but now we're at a point where we need to clean up the mess of the demolition. So putting all of the rubble through a sieve and keeping the gold, right? So we don't get rid of all of it, because there is parts that need to continue that are good. And then there is a lot that's just crap. And we need to let that shit go. It needs to be released. It needs to go. We need to no longer be held hostage by the time spirits of the past, letting all of that release. So, yeah, all of that, letting that go. And then, it's hard, we're all pretty gun shy right now to be real confident in, okay, well, now we're going to start rebuilding and do a new foundation, right? Because we're really being asked to create a new foundation. And that foundation needs to be based in stewardship and, care of earth, care of people, sharing the surplus, a really radical change from where we're at right now. So just acknowledging that's not easy, that even though I just said that, I managed to put it in a sentence, it makes sense. It's like a lot of work and a lot of focus and a lot of owning our own wounding, self-healing, and then healing our communities. It's a lot to do. So I'm just going to offer some ceremony in a moment here for calling to what will be and celebrating what was and releasing what was and releasing the grief and letting us, calling in. So that is going to begin now. I believe we're going to go ahead and move into ceremony time. Okay. So with that in mind, I'm going to begin the ceremony part of this recording. This is an offering to anyone and everyone to participate virtually so that we are not on our own, but we are together. And so in that idea, I'm going to give you some instructions up front before we begin. And so you're going to need to get a candle and some matches and a stone, at least one. And you'll need all of that, and possibly a notebook and pen for you to sit with this some of the contemplative parts of this beforehand, before you're actually doing the ceremony. But that is instructions that you will need to pause and go get yourself a candle. And it doesn't, ritual generally involves fire or water or earth or air. Of course, air is present in all of them. But my point being, candles. Candles are very handy, and I believe most people listening to this are going to have some. If you would like to do your ritual with a full fire and big sticks, that's fine too. But since I don't know what people have on hand, I'm just going to stick with what I am pretty sure most people are going to have. And of course, if you don't have it, you could go to the store and purchase a candle. Okay, that was just for me feeling better about not being able to get stuff together for everybody. Okay, so, and if you are a mesa carrier, you're going to want to get your mesa out and open it up, and then see which stones would like to work with you for this ceremony. It's possible you want your whole mesa. It's, again, being self-referencing in how many stones and what needs to happen for you particularly. For me, I have 2 stones representing different aspects of myself. One really representing my relationship with money and economy and work, that whole self-worth through money piece. And then the other one really represents for me my voice opening, supporting me in opening and allowing my voice to be heard, allowing myself to be heard and seen in the world. So here we are in this podcast way. So this stone is working. It's working. So, okay, with those instructions for you to go ahead and pause this recording and go get those things, then I will come back when you're done. There we go. Pause. There we go. All right, so now that you're all ready for me, we're going to go ahead and begin. I'm going to call in and set intention and hold the space and all of that for all of us listening at any time, but particularly right here at the solstice. Okay, so now take some nice deep breaths and allow your awareness to drop in, and setting intention here to open up time and space for ceremony. I call to the winds of the east, great eagle, great condor, I call to you. I ask you for your presence here. I ask you to fly in with the energy of the new day, the new dawn, and the new beginnings, the promise of new life. I ask you for your presence here with me and with each person listening. I call out to you. I ask you to help us to open up this time and space and allow us to be surrounded by your grace and comfort. And I call out to those winds of the east, waters, the mountains, the lineages, the stars. I call out to all those beings of the east. And I offer you this day, this beautiful opportunity to come dancing in celebration of solstice, of this new cycle and new season, and this particular conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, calling out to that energy, all those involved, all those in the seen and unseen who are impacted by all of us humans. I call out to you and I invite you into this party, to this celebration. I ask you to be here with us. I ask you to be present. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey! And I call out to the south. Sachamama Amuru, come, come, come. Mother of the waters, come. I ask you to wrap your coils of light around each one of us, allowing us to open up this time and space for grounding down and sending into the beautiful earth all the heaviness of this last year, all that we have accumulated, all of this heavy energy. We ask for a grounding cord on the space that we are in, that all heavy energies can go directly to the heart of the earth. And I ask you, Sachamama, to help us to create that grounding cord. I ask you to help us to be here. I want to call out to the mountains of the south, the waters, the lineages, the stars, all those beings of the south. I ask you to be present as we do this ceremony. I ask you for your attention and your love. I ask you with deep, deep reverence for your attention here and your help and love and guidance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey. And to the west, Otarango, Mother, Sister, Jaguar, come. come and pat around this space, around each one of us, listening around me, keeping this space safe and sacred, keeping all intrusive energies at bay. I ask you to open up this time and space with me as we invite in all those benefic ones. I ask that all the intrusive energies be, with honor and reverence, be released from each one of us. And I ask now for all those winds and waters, mountains, lineages, stars, the ocean. Because where I am, the ocean's in the east, or the west, sorry, in the west, the Pacific Ocean. Calling out to that beautiful, beautiful ocean energy and asking that to come here all the way out to the desert, to Tucson. I ask you to bring that energy of salt water and all that beautiful transformative abilities of the ocean. You who can hold the grief and transform it, you who create our tears, I ask you to be present with us here now as we do this ceremony today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey! And to the north, see our Kinte Royal Hummingbird, come. Come and fly into this space. Fly into every nook and cranny, every cell, every strand of our DNA, and bring with you that joy and your amazing ability to find the sweetness in life. I ask you to be present here during the ceremony. I ask you to be here. Be with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And calling out to the ancestors, those ancestral helping spirits, I ask you to be present. I ask you to be here. Come. All those who have lived well and died well, those who have celebrated solstices throughout the ages, I call and I invite you into the celebration of life and death, of course, because death is part of life, and I want to honor you and your life, and I invite you in for that honoring. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And calling out to those ascended masters who would like to attend the party, I ask you to be here. I ask you to come. And calling out to the earth, Pachamama, sweet Mother Earth, Mama Gaia, come. I dance upon you. I invite you to celebrate with me, and I give you gifts of gratitude. I just love you so much. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I call out to Pan and all the nature spirits here on this land and all those places where anyone is listening, calling to their nature spirits, those of the land, and calling out to the waters, the mountains, the fire, the earth, the air, the water, all the elemental ones, the spirit within all things. I call out to that which is the anima, the animating force, the kausai, calling out to that and asking it to be present and bringing its strength, come and dance with us, come and be with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to the above, all of the above. Calling out to the moon, the sun, the stars, Venus and Mars, all of those star brothers and sisters, I call out to you, and particularly Saturn and Jupiter today as you do your beautiful beginning points of your great conjunction, setting the tone of the next 20 years. I bow deeply to you and your timekeeping abilities. I thank you for your presence here and your part in this celebration. Thank you. And calling out to all the angelic ones, to Great Spirit. Werakocha Texi Moyo, Iritixi. Mama Sophia.
Just take some nice deep breaths and invite yourself to this party.
Kotokuna, your higher self, but also your physical human self. Inviting yourself and really honoring yourself for showing up for this.
To be here.
Thank you. Beautiful for your presence. Celebration. I connect my heart to yours wherever you may be. Thank you. Okay. Offer you my deep love and connection. So this first step of this solstice ceremony is to release some of the grief and offering it as compost for new life. So, we've all been through it. It's 2020, for God's sakes. I'm sure we all have a lot to offer up, and knowing that offering your grief and your heaviness is a beautiful gift. And it seems, I don't know, we humans have a lot of judgment about such things, but it's energy, and it's very heavy, dense energy. It's kind of like when offering it to nature, it's like offering them the richest chocolate cheesecake or something. It's really heavy and rich. So just think of yourself as being energetically rich. You are energetically rich. It makes me happy to phrase it like that, because it takes the fear and the judgment out of it. So what I want you to do is to take your stone, whichever stone wants to work with you. And so for those who haven't done ceremony with me before, which may happen since this is the internet, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of teaching here of how to move energy. And that is that energy moves through breath and intention. And so you're going to set intent to allow heaviness, grief, sadness, rage, whatever you got, whatever you're energetically rich in, but knowing that you don't need to keep it, and you need those places that need to be cleaned up, that things have gotten out of balance, just intending that any place that is out of balance within you, giving it this opportunity to begin moving. And then taking nice deep breaths and blowing the energy out through your lungs and onto the stone. So just like that. And I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm assuming you understand that I have a stone in my hand and I'm putting it to my mouth and I'm blowing on it. And the stone is like a magnet that's going to pull the energy to it and hold it for you. And this is a way for you to keep track of the energy so that you can work with it. If you just blow it out into the air, that's, fine, but you won't know where you put it because you just kind of let it loose, and then other people can come along and sit in it, and it, it's just not very polite, energetic politeness. So you're going to put it on the stone, 1, so that you know where you put it, and 2, so that the stone can help you. And I will give you instruction on what to do with the stone a little later, because right now we're just releasing. So go ahead and allow yourself those nice deep breaths. Calling up any energies of grief and missing humans, missing our friends and family, any people that you may have lost this year, allowing the grief to bubble up now, knowing this is a safe space to do so. And with each breath, Just allowing that intent to get a little stronger. And any places you may have fear around are the state of our society and the state of our economy, particularly around, money. If you have fear there, allowing that to come up. Ooh. To be seen and heard, and letting the stone pull it out of you. And if you start feeling discomfort anywhere in your body, you can move the stone to that spot and kind of tap it on that area as well. Or you can just continue blowing. Offering up this fear to the earth, to all those beings of nature, to the hummingbird particularly. That hummingbird who makes that huge journey with no preparation, trusting that there will be flowers all along the way, trusting in that migration, and calling for that trust in your heart that there will be enough, that there is enough, and that you have it within you to access what you need. That whatever it is you need is easily accessible, that you can ask for help, that help can come from mysterious places that you haven't even thought of. And for all those thinking of changing careers, just letting yourself sit with that, letting all the fear and feelings, all your feelings, I'm not going to tell you what you feel, just let your feelings move, letting them come up, and any places that you are blocked, any places of blocking. If you're needing to take a next step, and that step is really big and you're scared, just letting the fear come up and out and onto the stone, asking the stone, letting the stone represent all of your ancestral helping spirits and your spirit guides and your helpers, and knowing that they have got you. They have so got you, even though it's so hard to trust. Just they got you. Let the stone represent that and let them help you to pull it out, letting your fear move. Letting your wings flap, so taking your shoulders and moving them back and forth, and allowing there to be a softening at your heart and all the way down, letting yourself express whatever it is that you need to express, saying it out loud or writing it down, taking time here to acknowledge what you're feeling. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to deny it. Don't be like, I have it so much better than other people and therefore my feelings aren't deserving of attention. Don't do that. Let yourself have them. Let them come up and out. So here I'm going to give you a few things to think about. You can pause and journal and whatever it is you need to do, but some questions that are very appropriate in this time are: what is my work in the world? What is my work in the world? What is my work in the world? I know it's not just one thing, but just letting yourself sit with that question, pausing the recording, and, well, I'm going to give you another question before you should pause, but, and the other question is: how can I be supported? How can I be supported? How can I be supported? There you go. So then spending some time with those questions, letting them percolate, and whenever you feel ready, you can come back to the recording and we'll go to the next step. And of course you can spend whatever time you need here on anything else that may have come up. Since it's a recording, just pause and do your thing. There we go. I'm just going to say pause. And now I'm back. All right. So the next step in this little ceremony is going to be with the candle and the match. So there's going to be two pieces of this. The first one being the match. And so what we're going to do, I want you to hold your match. And I want you to bring your awareness into your heart space, into the center of your heart space. Take a nice deep breath there. And in the center of your heart, letting there be a well of gratitude. And letting that energy of gratitude overflow. Finding your gratitude for all the things, for the sunrise and the sunset, for the noonday sun, for midnight, for the stars in the sky, for the sun, the moon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Finding gratitude for this earth and the air that we breathe, for the fire and the earth and the air and the waters. All those waters, just so much gratitude for the waters, letting that flow out onto that match. And then just as it begins overflowing, adding your gratitude, that this is you and what you are truly, deeply grateful for. Your family, you can name them. Joe and Raina, Michelangelo, Bianca, Rosemary, Liza, Tamar, Max, Jason, Caspian and Benny, Lily and Atticus. So much gratitude for them and their part in my life. And my friends, my beautiful friends, all of you guys, love you, love you, love you. Deep gratitude for each and every one who I haven't been able to see, and those who I have seen. I just love you so much, and I miss you so much. And I am so very grateful for you, for your presence in my life, for all that you do, for your ridiculous cuteness. And you boo. All you guys, I love you so much. All right. And just allowing that overflowing of gratitude to continue. And if you need to pause, taking a nice deep breath and blowing that gratitude onto your match. And knowing that gratitude for all of your guides and guardians, for all those in the spirit world who support you every day in all the ways that all those times that don't even know or acknowledge or have any idea that they're doing that. We just offer deep, deep gratitude for all those in the spirit world who support us in all the ways. We ask for healing for all of our guides and guardians, for our relationship with them. We ask for forgiveness for all the misunderstandings and the frustrations and all the things, any places we have stepped out of Aini, out of integrity. We ask now for forgiveness. We ask all beings, seen and unseen, who have been impacted by us, to forgive us and know that you are loved and appreciated. And just pouring gratitude out, pouring gratitude for all the support that we receive, all of it, for this life. Even the difficult parts, just being grateful, so grateful. Alright, so as that continues, you can pause here and just keep pouring gratitude, or we can move on to the next part. I don't know, I guess I'm feeling like I don't want this recording to be too long, but I think I should probably not worry about it. But anyway, you can pause if you need more gratitude time. And if you're ready to move on with me, then you're going to take your candle. And this candle is going to be for your vision of what's coming, for this seed moment of the winter solstice, which is the seed of the year, of this 2021 year, what is to come. And the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is a seed moment for the next 20 years. So in that 20-year part, you just know that you're not gonna, you may have some inkling, but you probably don't. You probably have no idea and can't, because it doesn't exist on the planet yet. So in those cases, I often just set intent to call out to being in alignment with my assignments. It's my little poem. I am in alignment with my assignments. And these assignments are ones we give to ourselves. You know, they're our soul assignments. They're not imposed by some grumpy teacher or something like that. This is imposed by yourself and your soul. And in that, you can't miss it because, well, you can choose not to do it. And in that, you'll end up hurting yourself quite badly over time. But just know that you can trust yourself to, the inspiration will drop in. You don't need to force it. You can't force it. What you think you want to become is probably not exactly what it is your soul thinks you're going to become. So it's not about knowing. Although if you do know, if you do have some vision of something you want to move towards, then this is a beautiful opportunity to really write it down, see it, draw it, act it out, you know, all the things, and then really blow it into the candle. So in that, I'm going to just suggest, again, that you pause the recording and take some time to think about that, and know that you're in sacred space during this time, and that you're going to want to mean what you say and say what you mean, but you can, say, hey, I'm working stuff out right now, so don't take me at my, I don't fully know yet, I'm asking for advice, right? You can just know that spirit is listening right now, is what I'm trying to say to you. Know that they're listening, and you don't want to just, start babbling about weird things right now. Just allow yourself to be serious, as serious as I can be Silence and reverence, Josephine. Silence and reverence. Not real good at it. Anyway, so you can be reverent, but I'm just saying don't allow yourself to just, get up and leave at this point. But you can pause and spend some time figuring it out, or you can just take this moment with me where I am just going to say right now, I am in alignment with my assignments. I am in alignment with my assignments. I am in alignment with my assignments. And I ask for support and love and guidance within it, in every step of the way. All right, so in that, now you can spend as much time as you'd like there with your candle, loading it up. But to complete the ceremony, you're going to want to then take your gratitude match and strike it. And light your candle. There we go. And let that be your offering. Let it be simple. You can sit in meditation with that for a bit, for however long you want. If you do make a full-on fire, and use big sticks, you go for that too, but I assume if you're doing that, you know what you're doing and you don't need me to tell you. So, then the stones, these stones that we filled up with that heaviness, you're going to take outside. And if you are a Mesa carrier, you're going to go ahead and make a mythic map and put it on the ground and, do your thing, do what you know. But if you're not a Mesa carrier, you're just going to find a spot on the ground. And again, with that well of gratitude, you're going to pour that out. And you can actually use some sort of beverage to pour out as well, but, energetically pouring from your heart space the gratitude of the earth and asking her to take your heaviness and turn it into beautiful butterflies and trees and flowers and rainbows and puppy dogs and all the places where things need to be fed, letting this be food for new life and releasing it fully as a gift, letting it go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So once you do all that, again, you're going to be pausing and coming back to this, I suppose. But within all of that, now we are going to go ahead and close this little ceremony. Bowing in each of the four directions. So bowing to the east and all those energies that came, to the south, to the west, to the north, to the earth, and to the heavens. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all those who came and supported this work. We honor you with deep reverence. We thank you, thank you, thank you for this experience of a virtual ceremony, and I ask that it be supported through the ethers. Since there is no time and space, I'm assuming you guys will love this. All right, so thank you to everyone who participated, and thank you for listening. But I guess that's gonna be the end right there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you. wondering what that means.